Hello and welcome to my Limbo sound redesign video, where I'm going to show a recording, sound design and some implementation process for the demo version of the game called Limbo. So what is Limbo? Well, if you know some stuff about game audio, you probably heard about Wwise middleware. And with the Wwise software, you also get some sample projects and small games, one of which is demo version of Limbo. Limbo is a great indie platform game by Danish studio Playdead, and they were actually nice enough to give their Wwise project for people to check out, play with, and learn about all the strategies and cool techniques that made the game sound so deep, disturbing, and atmospheric. So I decided, alongside a very large number of aspiring sound designers, to give it a try and using a sample Wwise project replace original sounds with ones I recorded and designed. So first I went out and recorded all the sounds I needed, which were footsteps and jumps. Some small stone debris, some hits, breaks, and slide sound. Then I definitely needed a lot of cloth sounds, water sounds for footsteps and objects in water, and some other weird stuff which will make sense in a second. Then I went to DAW to edit out single sounds from long recordings, made sure everything is in mono, cut out the rumble with high-pass filters, and used denoising VST on some of the recordings, especially the ones recorded outside, to get rid of the wind. Some of sounds that appear in-game needed a further sound design, for example the bear trap. For this one, first I took a metal hit I found on a free sound library, layered it with a blood spray sound, added a slide sound to emphasize the hit even more, added some more gore stuff, and a low hit to make it more punchy. In game we also have a giant spider and it needed a few sounds. One of them was a sound of his leg hitting the ground, kind of like a spear, for which I layered ground hits with small stones. All movement of the spider needed a kind of creaky, rather disgusting sound, for which I took a breaking sticks and breaking salt recordings, layered them and transposed down to make them creepier and longer. For the spider unfolding sound, I used a peanuts recording and squeezing paper recording. Layered them, EQ'd and transposed so the papers took lower parts of the frequency spectrum and peanuts took the higher. I also used different transposing modes to make the sounds even weirder. Next, for the flesh/blood squish sound, I layered a chips pack sounds with tomato squishing sounds. Then I needed a sound of a tree trunk falling into the water, for which I took few other recordings of water impacts and layered them to achieve a kind of longer sound, which indicates that the object falling into the water is of a larger size. When every sound was pretty much ready, I imported them into Wwise and replaced original sounds. I matched the volumes and edited a length where it was needed. I also applied some more variation, enabling a little bit of pitch and volume randomization where it wasn't already enabled. After that, I went to work on a menu sound design. I definitely wanted some drones, so I used a wavetable synthesizer with two oscillators playing simultaneously. I put LFOs on few different parameters like filters and wavetable positions, and also modulated the first LFO's frequency with the second to make the sound as alive as possible. Then I put a couple more effects like frequency shifter, also modulated by LFO, and echo, and made a couple different two-note harmonies, which I rendered as a separate tracks. In Wise, I imported 4 separate drone harmonies and put them in a drone playlist container. I left the transition settings from the original game as they randomize a length of each drone slightly every time it plays, but I didn't want them to always play in the same order, so I enabled a random feature in the container so I have even more variation. For the pause menu sound, I cut a small portion of one of the drones and layered it with a percussive sound. Then I used the same percussive sound, transposed it and layered with a very short noise crackle to add more character for other navigation sounds. I made next and back sounds out of the same layers, but for the next sound, I reversed the percussive sound and transposed it one semitone up. For the back sound, I reversed it back and set one semitone down, so this way I made them sound kind of opposite. Finally, I went to work on Ambience, which is a very important layer in case of Limbo. The original Ambience system is very large and based on changing state parameters in the game. Instead of just replacing sounds in it, I wanted to make my own system, but first I needed some sounds for it. As a foundation, I wanted to have longer drone sounds. For the first drone, I took some field recordings of a playground and using multiple EQs with high resonance and another resonance plugin, I made it more tonal. Then I drowned it in the echo and added a little of distortion. I also decided to add another layer and took another playground recording, and with the use of gate plus LFO, I made it appear randomly for a very short moment and also put a low pass filter on it to make it less recognizable. For the second drone, I used the same synthpad I made before for the menu drones, looped and recorded a playthrough playing with the echo settings in real time, making it more organic and alive. In Wise, first I turned off the original state ambience system and went to interactive music layout. There I created a new music playlist container and put 2 segments in it, one just for silence and the other one for sounds. I imported my drones and put them together on one random step track, so whenever it plays back, one of the drones will be chosen randomly. Then I search for play ambience event in the project and set a new action to play a new ambience system. But I wanted something more than just drones for it, so I went back to a DAW to figure out some random ambience sounds. I took some whispers, transposed one a lot down and one up. I used few sounds from Contact Library and an alarm clock sound. Made it all quiet, rolled off all the high frequencies and made it more narrow, and then ran it through Echo plugin to give it a feeling of being far away. In Wise, I imported all individual tracks to the Ambiences and Drones music segment. I made all of them a random tracks and added few subtracks with silence. This way, every time my music segment with drones plays back, Ambience sounds tracks will select to play either sound or silence, so the sounds in-game will appear only from time to time, pretty much randomly. And that's it. It took a few playthroughs and going back and forth from the game to the project using a profiler in Wwise to tweak some settings, mainly a volume of particular sounds. So here's the final result, and thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy.